just because why not? So, virtual AP, CIS, PSEO, presentation for parents. And if you're a student out there, you'll learn something too, I'm sure. This presentation and any question asked are being recorded to be posted on the BA website. I just started recording, so we'll see if it works. So, CIS versus AP versus PSEO. What's the difference? These are all a lot of acronyms, and they all kind of mean the same thing. So, College in the Schools is our CIS. These are college-level courses that we do offer in-house at BA. Similarly, AP, our advanced placement courses, are college-level courses that we offer at BA in-house with our teachers. Both of these groups of classes, our teachers have had special training for CIS through the University of Minnesota and with AP through College Board so that they are licensed to teach these courses. PSEO is our post-secondary educational opportunity or option. And these are college-level courses. They are not taken at BA. They are taken either at the college itself, physically there in the lecture hall, or they are taken online from whatever location. So I guess when I say not at BA, I mean they could be taking a PSEO course and doing the materials while they're at school, but we are not in control of what's happening in that class. It is the post-secondary institution that they are enrolled in. With CIS, our students are receiving credit from the University of Minnesota. So, as you can see below here, where it says Human Physiology and University of Minnesota BIOL 1015, that is the actual course that they are getting credit for by taking this class. So these U of M credits you can receive by just passing the course. For AP, it's a little bit different how you would get those credits. So AP classes, you do all of the material in class, do all of the work, but then at the end of the semester, the end of the year in May, there are AP tests. Those tests are 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes I think the language ones can be a bit longer. And then colleges will award credits based on your score. So they're scored out of 5. Almost, like most colleges, will accept AP scores at a 3, a 4, or a 5. But they may give you like a slightly different credit option depending on your score. So for example, when I went to University of Wisconsin, I had gotten a 3 on my AP US History test. There, that counted as an elective credit. But if I had gotten a 4 or a 5 on that test, then I would have gotten a history credit. So it depends a little bit what your score is, what the college is accepting. For PSEO and and CIS, these are both transfer credits. So instead of going to the college and seeing what they award you for it, you're responsible for getting a transcript, or your student is responsible for getting a transcript from either the U of M that lists that college course on it, or from whatever post-secondary institution they are enrolled in for PSEO that has the credit on it. And then they see, does this college that I'm attending take these credits? So that's where like CIS, having it through the University of Minnesota, is accepted many, many places. In fact, the University of Minnesota wants to know if their CIS course was not accepted at a school because they want it accepted everywhere. It's really a high flyer sort of institution, accepted lots of places, especially within Minnesota. So with PSEO, one of the things that students want to consider when they're looking at colleges is obviously like the location, if they're going to be there in person, but also whether or not those courses or that material, the credits, will be able to transfer to the post-secondary institution that they actually want to attend. Because there are instances where a student will take a course somewhere like, for example, like South Central, and then they go to a different college and that college says, no, actually we don't take those credits and we're not going to accept it. So making sure whatever PSEO place a student is taking courses, that if they have an idea of where they want to go later, that those will transfer. Additionally, so CIS is an additional $145 for domestic students and $195 for international students. For AP, it does cost some money to have the test. It's $93, although there are options for students who qualify to have a reduced price. PSEO, it is free. It's paid for by the Minnesota Department of Education. So it's kind of a thing that can really go, or anybody in school, any high schooler in school can apply for PSEO and get it free of charge. So then the CIS courses we do offer here at BA is CIS Human Physiology with Mr. Zabel. 11th graders have the opportunity to take CIS History with Mr. Madden. And then students who are on this math track get to take CIS Calculus with Mr. Friesen. For AP Lit and AP Lang are both taught by Miss Peel. AP European History this year is taught by Mr. Wallin, and AP Stats is taught by Mrs. Jandro. So I also wanted to scoot on over so I could show you. So a lot of colleges will actually have a page where they say what score students need to get in order to get credit. So this is the one from the University of Minnesota. I'll just scroll down to English Literature and Composition. So for Lang and Lit, they want a 4 or a 5, and depending on what you can get 4 credits in Writing 1301 for Lang, which is your freshman writing requirement. They wouldn't have to take it. It would already be fulfilled. And Lit and Composition, they can get 4 credits in the same course as Lang, but they can also get 3 credits in English Lit. So it's not just the writing requirement that's covered, it's the Lit core requirement that's covered. I'm going to go back to the presentation. So for PSEO, I do not have a list of courses. The courses that students can take is dependent upon the college that they are taking, that they've decided to do PSEO at. So some colleges will have a whole list of courses students can take, or will say they can take any freshman year class. Some colleges have more restrictions, really dependent on the college. Another thing to know about PSEO is all courses that students can take through PSEO are considered elective credits. So that's all their core classes need to be fulfilled at BA. For CIS and AP, these can be core classes like English Lit, AP Lit counts as an English credit. European History is a World History credit. AP Stats is a math credit. Similarly, we've got a US History credit, Science credit, and math credit over here. So really, the thing to know is all of these are ways for high school juniors and seniors to earn college credit by successfully completing the course while they're still in high school. So it's pretty rad. So why would you pick a CIS course? One, they're taken through the University of Minnesota, and that's really widely accepted, especially in Minnesota, but is one of the best universities really in the country. So will be accepted very widely. They're highly transferable. Our CIS courses are scheduled within the student's day, so they just go from class to class, and that class happens to be a CIS course. One of the big things to remember is these college-level courses with CIS and AP both have in-building support from our teachers. These are the teachers that your students have known all along, and they're the teachers who can bring them in and kind of reel them in, and you can talk to them and contact them if you're worried about your student. I mean, of course, take a CIS course if your student is interested in the course offerings. If they're not interested in any of these categories, you can take it. It might look really good on your transcript. You might find an interest in it, but they are a fair bit of work if you're really not invested at all or your student isn't invested at all. So then why pick AP? So scores of a 3 or a 4 or a 5 are accepted at most colleges across the country. And if you are interested in specific colleges, like I said, looking it up, they have a lot of these things listed on college websites. Another reason is that these are not transfer credits. They're awarded by the colleges themselves. So in some places where somebody may not accept a credit from a different post-secondary place, they may still award AP credits and respect that work at a higher level. Also on the AP website, this little tool, and I can send this in something, but they have an AP credit policy search. So you can actually select whatever course the student is in and then find the college and see if it will be accepted by the colleges of choice or where it might be accepted. These are some ways to check. Ooh, didn't mean to grab that. Like I said, here are our available courses over here. Some really great pathways. So then why pick PSEO? So the reason to pick PSEO is that your students wanting coursework that's outside of what we already offer at BA. Another reason to pick PSEO is that that course they're interested in is online. It's a lot easier for students to do PSEO courses within their school day if they are online classes. Your student should have transportation if they need to go to or from their PSEO location, because we can't transport them there. They're kind of responsible for that themselves. Another thing to consider is the school day flexible enough for me if I'm doing or my student, if they're doing a in-person PSEO course? So that's including like the time it'll take to get to and from class and the time to get to that building. And sometimes these courses are offered, if in person, after school or at weird hours. So considering when is it offered, is this going to conflict with any of the extracurriculars that my student is already doing? Another reason to pick PSEO is that the school that your student's doing PSEO at is the school they want to attend. Then you don't have to worry about transferring credits. They're already there, and you know that they'll be counted forward. Another reason would be that, the school that they do want to go to is accepting those credits. So as you can tell, I really want to focus on the fact that these are transfer credits. Make sure that if your student is doing PSEO, that the credits will transfer where they want to go. Or else they'll have taken some PSEO courses, but it won't necessarily benefit them in the way that one might think. Like I said before, these courses, the availability varies by school. I do not have a list of available courses. We do not offer them at BA. We offer the opportunity for them to apply and then take those courses elsewhere. For more specific course information or more information about a specific school and their PSEO opportunities, the best way to find out is to call their admissions person. Most colleges have a PSEO advisor who would love to talk to you or your student, really would love to talk to your student. I keep saying you and I mean your student. Would really love to talk to your student about what sorts of courses they could offer and what it might look like if your student went to PSEO there. So next is PSEO credits. So PSEO credits are a little bit different than the AP and CIS credits, just by numbers, because our CIS classes and our AP classes are counted as a semester as a half of a credit, just like any of our other courses. And when we go from college credits to BA credits, we have to kind of translate them into our BA credit language. So PSEO courses, if it's 1 to 2 college credits, that course counts as half a credit, which is a semester course at BA. So the example is your student would have 1 extra study hall per day for this class. So every student has 1 study hall per student, even if they're not in anything else, everyone has a study hall. So your student would have 2. One of those study halls would be for them to work on their PSEO course. If the PSEO course, or they're taking more than 1 course, ends up being 3 to 5 college credits, then they have a 1 full credit, which is 2 semester courses at BA. So they'd have 2 extra study halls per day, which would be 3 in all. All of our students must be taking 4 courses at BA at all times. And I'm going to put this in again. Online PSEO courses are just much simpler for students to schedule and manage within the school day than in-person courses. it's kind of the reality of the situation, because part of what makes PSEO great is if a student can go there and experience what it's like to be in college. At the same time, they're still in high school, and it's balancing these two locations and figuring out how can it be a sustainable like symbiosis of both places and not just be very, very stressful to get back and forth and to make sure that you're not missing things and that kind of thing. So I have some things to know before going into PSEO. Not all colleges take transfer credits. So if you have an idea for future plans or your student has an idea, make sure the credits will transfer. This is a big one too. I at BA nor parents will have access to progress grades or information about the courses that your student is taking. It has to do with them being in college and education privacy laws when they're in college. So that means if your student is not attending the course, no one's going to tell me and no one's going to tell you. If they're failing their course, there's no notification, and we don't have a way of checking unless your student comes forward and is like, I'm not going, I'm not doing it, I'm failing. Once received, so I receive at the end of each semester a transcript of grades of students who are doing PSEO, and then I transfer those over to the student's transcript. So they are reflected on your BA or your student's BA transcript, but if you're applying somewhere, you also need to get that second transcript from the actual institution itself, an official transcript. Next, applying for PSEO is a lot like applying for college, and similarly, students must take the lead on it, especially when your student's going to be a junior. If I'm having to track them down and tell them, like, come on, we got to turn this in, that's telling me that they're not necessarily ready to have the loosey-goosey nature of a lot of these PSEO college-level courses. It's really important for them to be able to demonstrate, like, I'm ready, I have control of this situation, I know what I'm doing, and if I don't know, coming to me and asking. I'm, of course, here as a resource and would love to answer any questions I can or direct them in the direction that I can. But with PSEO, I want to make sure that they know what they're getting into, and that at college, people aren't going to be pounding down their door to make sure they're, showing up or turning things in. And then again, students must take all core courses at BA. Now, if you're still interested in your student doing PSEO, here's some information on how to make that happen. One, your student needs to contact me so that we can set up an informational meeting and we can talk about everything that I'm kind of talking to you about so they know what they're getting into. Next, your student's going to need to choose where they want to apply. Of course, everyone's a little bit part of that process. I'm sure a lot of you have an idea of where you think your student would really be successful or where you want to see them end up. Each school does have their own registration requirements, so make sure, part of it is making sure that the student is going to be aligning with those requirements. Each school also has their own acceptance requirements. So with that, some college or some PSEO programs are more difficult to get into, like the University of Minnesota is very selective, and some of them are easier to get into. Each school has their own deadlines for applications. I do have a big sheet of this on the Counselor's Corner, a part of the BA website that has deadlines, and it has, I think, like 20 or 30 different colleges and all of this requirement criteria that you need to meet in order to be a successful candidate. Make sure you check those dates too, even on the sheet, against what's on the computer, because I do my best, but if I miss something, I don't want that to be the reason that somebody didn't get through. Then your student's going to be responsible to come to me to fill out their notice of student registration. And I'll show you a picture of that on the next page, and then request a transcript to be sent to the PSEO College Choices. Typically they want a transcript or they want test scores, or I've seen in some cases they request both, but usually they'll just take a transcript from me. The form, the NOSR, is due by May 30th, so make sure you have that in. That's before a lot of the deadlines for actually applying to schools, but we need that notice. And that form must be filled out for each semester the student is doing PSEO. So they'll fill it out right now for the fall semester, then you fill it again in in the fall for the spring semester if they want to do it again. So as many as 2 times a year. And then your student's responsible for notifying me if they get accepted, because I'm keeping a list and I want to make sure that we know who's going where and kind of what to expect next year. And then when we find out where they're going, when their classes are, then we will work together to put to a schedule that'll accommodate those PSEO choices. And like I said before, way easier if they're online, but sometimes doable if they're not. And I can't say it's definitely going to work every time, but I am sure it does sometimes. So this is that form I was talking about, the Notice of Student Registration form. This can be found both on the BA website, right underneath that other list on the PSEO part. And it can also be found if you Google, it's on the MDE, Minnesota Department of Education website. And now I am going to open this up for questions. And I'll stop sharing my screen so that I can see you all.